In part 3 of this HCM example problem tutorial video, I'm going to run the simulation and give a brief overview of the output data. To run the simulation, we need to first load the simulation control panel by pressing this button here. And I've already entered a warm-up time of 420 seconds and a simulation duration of 900 seconds. When the simulation starts, the network is completely empty. The 420 seconds will allow vehicles that enter at the beginning of the network to traverse the entire 6-mile length, as well as the 1,500-foot entry link length and the 1,500-foot exit foot length. The 900 seconds will replicate the 15-minute time period that we're using for this HCM example problem. For the output options, we just need to check the link performance measure data box here. For this example problem, we're interested in comparing link-wide performance measures rather than point detector measures. If we want to make sure that this run is different than a preceding run that we may have done already, we can click this button here to change the random number seeds. This will ensure that the results for this run are different than a preceding run that we may have already done. So at this point, we can go ahead and press the Run Simulation button to get the simulation started. And at that point, then you'll see some status information about the simulation show up in this box, and you'll see the progress bar start to fill up. I will go ahead and pause the simulation, though, until the simulation run is complete. Okay, the simulation is finished running, the 1,320 seconds that we specified, and a total of 2,077 vehicles entered the network. So at this point, we can go ahead and close the simulation control panel. If you want to visually observe the simulation results, you can load the animation screen by pressing this button. And you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in, or press the left mouse button down and drag left or right or up or down to position the network however you'd like. And you can press this button here to start the animation, and then you'll see the vehicles enter the network. This salmon colored link here corresponds to the entry link. You can pause the animation and then click in the simulation time and just enter any particular simulation time that you would like. You press the enter button and then hit the play button again, and the animation will advance to that point in the simulation. This is the weaving segment here. You can see the auxiliary lane that connects the on-ramp to the off-ramp. I will pause for a moment so you can see that this is a truck, and if you double click on it, you will get the vehicle properties dialog that gives you a lot of information about the status of that vehicle. It's usually easier to pause the animation to click on a vehicle to bring up the vehicle properties dialog. And these cayenne colored links correspond to exit links. That's the full network. And you can, in addition to setting a specific simulation time to jump to, you can use these plus and minus buttons to speed up or slow down the animation speed, and you can toggle this button to play the animation forward or backward. And you can press this button to show the entire network within your screen. But I'll go ahead and stop the animation and close this screen, and then we'll go ahead and bring up the results data. The results data files are going to be written to the output folder that you specified. To double check where that is, we'll go to File, Project Properties, and we can see it here in this entry. And if we want to change that for some reason, we can click this button and navigate through our File Explorer. But you'll want to do that before you run the simulation. Once you've run the simulation, the output files will get written to whatever was specified here in this input. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that output folder, and we just specified the link performance measures. So we get this one file, link results.csv, so it's a comma separated value file. And I've already opened that up. Just by double clicking on it, it'll load it into Excel if you have Excel on your computer. And this is what that file looks like. We just did one simulation run, and so we're just going to have 1 for scenario, 0 for sub-scenario, 1 for replication, so we can just ignore those entries for now. And the text here at the bottom part of the file is going to correspond to queuing information, which is used for signalized intersections, as well as the fields on the far right for delay and stops. That's going to apply when we have an intersection network. So what we have here is an entry for each link. These are the link IDs here, and again these correspond to our schematic. And so our weave segment, for example, is going to be link 810. And so we can find link 810 in our list. That's here in row 14. And it had a density. And this is in vehicles per mile per lane. So it had a density of nearly 23 vehicles per mile per lane, had an average speed of 54.43 miles per hour, and the corresponding flow rate was 1,251 vehicles per hour per lane. And it'll also give us information on the number of passenger cars that were present on that link and the percentage relative to all the different vehicle types, number of single unit trucks, number of intermediate semi-trailers, number of interstate semi-trailers, number of double semi-trailers. Again, these values are going to be low for this particular simulation run because the percentage of trucks that we specified was overall just 2.25%. And for the ramp links in particular, there's going to be very few trucks, if any. And we can look, say, at an exit link here, 6067. That's here in row 9. And for that, we had 100% passenger cars because, again, the overall exit percentage here was only about 5.5%. And, again, a very small percentage of trucks exiting. So for this 15-minute simulation run, it was unlikely that we were going to end up with any trucks exiting. And the total number of vehicles that were present on that link is given here in this column. There's also output for vehicle hours traveled and vehicle miles traveled. So these are the values that you're going to use to compare to the segment results for the HCM example problem. In particular, the density and the speed values. But of course you want to be cognizant of the flow rate that was ultimately simulated for that run. So you may end up with a flow rate that was a little bit less or a little bit more than your input flow rate because, again, of the stochastic nature of the microscopic simulation. So you never want to base your results on just a single run. You would want to do multiple runs and some sort of averaging before you do your final comparison of results to the HCM results. Okay, that's a wrap for part 3 of this tutorial video and the HCM Chapter 25 example problem 1.